down by what's that, Matt? Church?
Yeah.
Matt, yeah, so they were at church at first.
Okay.
And then they moved up here. They were on the east. They were on the east side by same block, but between 5th and 6th.
You were rocking with them over there?
Yeah, I was rocking them heavy over there. And then Matt, I want to say what? 22, yeah, so early 22. They came over here. Yeah, I was happy when they came to the West because I'm in Harlem, so it's like
okay,
that's easy.
Shoot right down.
Yeah, shoot right down.
Yeah.
Whoa. Hell yeah, I'm hyped. This is hype because I'm hyped.
All right, we're rolling.
I bet we're rolling. Man, oh, my creatives.
What's
going on? I know, right? Let
it out.
The Ruger spray, let it out. Back. I know. I'm sorry, my creatives. I'm sorry. I know I was at the sports side of things. You know, shout out to He's With Us, shout out to Combo, the sports podcast that we have. But nonetheless, we're back here. Ring TV gets Sirius TV Cuts podcast. What is good, my creatives? Listen, you know how this goes. I bring you the heavy hitters. I bring you the ones that have moved the needle in the culture between culture, urban technology, and sports. This is episode 150. Episode 149 had Kelly G. Shout out to you, Kelly G. The Drill Fairy had her in the building. So how do I follow it up? Follow it up right here. I don't know how he wants to take it. I'm going to say it. Legendary figure.
Appreciate that.
Journalist, filmmaker, producer. Produced two of like the dopest hip-hop documentary. I don't want to say hip-hop documentaries. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Wrote arguably one of the illest books. We're going to talk about that. You know, he wrote the autobiography with Nipsey Hussle, you know, The Marathon Don't Stop. New York Times bestseller book, by the way. What other thing? let me give you the key ingredient one, okay? Editor-in-chief of one of the dopest publications ever in the culture, okay? Vibe magazine. Nonetheless, I got Rob Kenner in the building, dog.
Yo.
Rob Kenner, what's up?
Respect.
What's up? Listen.
I got to do a quick fact check.
Yes.
I was not the editor-in-chief. I am one of the editors
okay.
from the founding of the magazine, and I'm the only one that actually was there continuously the whole run until the first to the last issue. 17 years at Vibe.
My creatives, you know how we do on Cuts. We keep it real. Hey, listen, the fact check's the fact check. That's what's up.
Yeah. But I appreciate the love and all
definitely.
we just do this work every day, and I didn't realize the focus of the podcast is creators, but shout out to you for 149 episodes in the can. It's an honor to be on number.
Yes,
I know it's a milestone with all the things you did wherever you were doing it.
Right.
This is your production, and that's what it's about in 2025. So ownership.
Definitely.
You know,
listen, man, I appreciate that, but nonetheless, man, story time, my crazy. You know how this goes here. Listen, 2 weeks ago, literally 2 weeks ago, this is no bullshit. Pulled up in the Bronx. Shout out to the Bronx, BX, you know, Bronx Boogie. Pulled up to one of the dopest premieres for a documentary. You know what I'm saying? This was about, you know, the reggae dance hall culture. Studio 17, The Lost Tapes, produced by Reshma B.
Shout out.
We're going to set that up too.
Yeah.
But real talk, you know, working the event, you know how I normally do and everything like that. Do what I do in media. Bumped into Rob. Rob loved the energy. I introduced who I was. He said who he was. And I said, listen, would you mind pulling up to the pod? Let's chop it up. And we're here.
So
you know
said, so done. So said, so done. You know? Yeah.
But definitely, let's just go with it off the rip, man. You as we mentioned about your award-winning selling author book.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
The Nipsey Hussle biography. That's another thing too. Autobiography and biography are interesting ideas. So autobiography means that the person wrote it themselves.
Right. Sorry about that. Yes.
Autodidactic is you teach yourself.
Right.
So autobiography is if someone take up the pen and actually, tell their own story. This is my biography, journalistic tribute to Ermias Ascadome life and his movement and the inspiration that his journey through being a creator represents to all of us. And I can tell you, as a creator, having an epiphany speaking with him while he was speaking about the way he approached his marketing and his, valuing what he creates and also the relationship he has with his his supporters, not just fans, but supporters, you know.
Nah, that's what's up. I want to touch on that. Like, definitely, that's definitely a highlight in your career, but also too, like, take us even before that, even the acknowledgement of it. Like, was there like an initial like pushback from his fan base or his camp per se? Because, you know, his fan base is a real stout fan base. So just take us into that of the process per se, if you want to. In regard.
There was no pushback ever. You know, I think you can tell from watching Nipsey Hussle movement, he urgently wanted his message to get out there.
Right.
And every opportunity he had to speak directly to his, you know, followers, his people, the marathon members that he called them, you know, in the race, he took that opportunity to speak directly into cameras, you know, from all over the world to tell his story. You see Nipsey sharing game, and the last conversation I had with him is exactly what he said his goal was. Like, I remember, and it's in the book, he said, I'm not out here giving away bags of jewelry and stacks of money, but I'm giving game. The game is free.
Right.
And, you know, if you're secure in your ability as a hustler, you don't worry about giving the game to you know, the people that are interested, because, you know, everybody's going to get what they're supposed to get. And if you don't, as a elder, it's almost a form of hating on the next generation. Not, you know, that's his words, not mine. But I felt an obligation after that convo to like learn from what I learned in that and also share it, you know. And that is what the Marathon Don't Stop is, my effort to give the game, you know, in a way that more people will understand, you know, if they're not necessarily a Nipsey Hussle fan already, you know.
Yeah, no, that's what's up. I'm gonna keep it a buck, man. Like, victory lap for me. Like, I know a lot of people of his fan base, and they like to argue it, like, oh, they like victory lap, but they don't like it as much as like the other albums. And I'm trying to explain to them, like, yo, y'all don't understand. Yeah. Victory lap just was it raised the stock. It raised the stock not only for him as an artist,
right?
It raised the stock of for artists to be that creative, and as well as to not even be fit in a box. Right. Like, we're talking like he had movie score beats. Yeah. Let's just keep it up. He had movie score beats on that album. Yep. He had movie score type songs that just could be placed anywhere. Yeah. Commercial, you name it. At sporting events, the whole nine. Like, that was a complete work of art from beginning to end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And despite of the unfortunate that happened, you know what I'm saying, you could see it off the rip even before that time frame. For sure. In that capacity. Yeah. It was super supreme skyrocket for him. Yeah. You know, and for me, you know, it was like, wow, like that. I think for 2019, I mean, there was other great I was not bumping no other album but Victory Lap. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing I could even try to play. Right. I'll keep it up. And there was other hitters. Don't get it twisted. There was other hitters that year. But for 2019, in its entirety, within that year, Victory Lap hands down.
Some of those records he had ready for years before that. You know, that was the Victory Lap that kept getting pushed back because he needed the right business situation, first of all, and the right creative situation. And he got all of that with what he was able to negotiate based on his success as an independent artist. He brought that leverage to the table and said, we're selling mixtapes for $100 cash, $1,000 for mailbox money mixtape, actually, right, per copy, physical, limited edition. And, you know, the $100 one was the first jump off, and everybody said he was crazy. And he had his business model that he had studied, a book he read by a Wharton. A professor at Wharton Business School. I read that book. Yeah. He was selling $100 cheesesteaks in Philly. That's it. Right. It's in the first chapter of the book. It's the first thing you read about. And he just read that, put it down, and said, this is what I have to do to monetize that relationship between me and my followers, my supporters. You know?
That's what's up.
So he brought that leverage to say, I can sell $100,000 of mixtapes for a free download that's live on Dat Piff the same night, but my supporters want to line up and get the signed joint and access to a show which only people who bought the Crenshaw, you know, Proud to Pay package can go to. And now that model is used by the music industry to market pop stars, Miley Cyrus. Or, Well, LaRussell's doing it.
Yeah, LaRussell's taking over and continuing. He's taking the baton.
Shout out to LaRussell.
Shout out to LaRussell. Hell yeah.
And people like Currency, there's a lot of people that have been like on that mission of an independent entrepreneur. But I think everybody would agree that Nipsey Hussle is a thought leader within that whole marketplace, and so much game. So the blueprint was set by what he was at work doing, and I understand that there will be new music later this year. Wow. Yeah, All Money.
My creative. Yeah. Listen, my creatives.
Yeah,
creatives. I stay bringing you the talent, the legendary figures. They stay telling you not only the gems. We stay, listen, Cuts. This is what we do here at Cuts. This is what we do. This is why I get hyped. I'm loving it. This is what we do, son.
You gotta clip that.
No, but that's definitely, shout out to Holly. By the way, my creators, you can't see it. Holly's in the back. I'm gonna start bringing the mic when Holly gets here, yo. Real talk. Holly gotta talk. You know what I'm saying? Hollywood. Follow him on Instagram, all that. No, but listen, let's even take even before the book. The fact that you are able to be part of a team with Quincy, the late legendary and great Quincy Jones.
Shout out to Q, yeah.
I mean, for you at that time frame, we asked my creators, we're bringing it back. That's fine and cool. How much was that motivating for you in your journey, in your creative career? Because let's keep it a buck. Quincy Jones is not just working with anybody.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And let alone he's curated Vibe for what was new publication within the culture. So for you, take my creative, reaching out right now to my creators right now, take us into even that time frame when you're getting a call like, yo, you're one of the editors
that was
for Vibe. Like, take us into that, crazy.
Man. The story of my time at Vibe, especially how it relates to Quincy and his influence on all of us, I had the opportunity to write that for Huffington Post. It's out there, you can read it. But basically, his advice to us was when he goes in the studio to make a record, he always leaves the studio door open just wide enough that God can walk into the room. And, with that, you apply that to everything you do, just having that open mind for the moment to show you the way, even if you had a different plan, and like being open to people that come into a situation that you might not expect, but bring something of value and collabing. And I don't know, just the creative openness to life is what we learn from that advice. That's what I took from it.
Right.
And and it's been a blessing to be able to work within Vibe. That was 17 years I was at Vibe. That was working with Q's blessing over what we were doing made a difference for sure. We were able to reach out to Oprah Winfrey or Michael Jackson or Eddie Murphy.
The litany of people you had.
Will Smith, the top echelon of, Black excellence in entertainment at a time when that wasn't really going on magazine covers. And that's part of the story, how Quincy could kick in the door at a place like Time Warner with his connections, people that he had a lot of loyalty and a lot of, people that were very loyal to him. And that was part of his currency in the deal-making space. But Quincy was able to create Vibe, which at a time, the cop killer stuff was going crazy.
Right.
All this, controversy about Death Row coming on the scene, and a lot of,
because that was like the turn, like 90, like the reason why, not to cut you off about that, sorry about that,
it.
But 92, to my understanding, that was like a pivotal year as far as with music, entertainment, and everything, because it was the changing of the guard, if you want to say, you know what I'm saying?
92
in a sense,
is Death Row,
Death Row's coming,
and then Bad Boy a year or so after that,
and then like almost, if you want to say, early Wu-Tang. In a sense,
all of that.
That regard, because even I correct me when I say, because you are a hip hop pioneer and a hip hop figure, pivotal figure in hip hop. I always said this about Wu-Tang, right? When it came to the momentum shift, because let's keep it a buck. Let's say late 80s to about 92, the West had it. I don't care. You can keep it a buck. The West had it until here comes Wu-Tang. right? Here comes Wu-Tang. A lot of cats kind of argue me about that in a sense. In the hip-hop culture, they argue me about that. But I say it because I remember that clearly.
Right.
Because that's when Protection Net came. Watch Step Kid.
Yep.
The whole grimy of New York in a sense. The pendulum came back. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, the West Coast was killing it. Let's just keep it a buck.
Right.
It is what it is. The West Coast was killing it. You couldn't do nothing. Even early Snoop, Ice Cube, NWA, they was running table. They was stupendous. Even Scarface, Ice-T, running table.
Late 80s New York hip hop was no slouch though.
No, it wasn't. No, I'm not saying.
Like,
no, I'm not saying. No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, as far as on a commercial standpoint, because if I'm not mistaken, even around that time, that was like, okay, the LL was kind of like transcendent to acting. Big Daddy Kane wasn't really on the scene like that per se. You got Rakim, it was kind of lowering. Run DMC too. Right. You got to remember Run DMC. It was getting stale to a sense because nobody was really kind of hearing that. Right. That's why I'm saying about it come back together about 1992 because that was the change in the guard. So that's what I mean. No, New York was still in.
Native Tongues.
Native Tongue was growing.
You had EPMD. You had a lot of New York.
It was like
different sounds. Slick Rick was doing what he was doing. Right. Everybody had a different color of the spectrum, you know. But I know what you're saying. Wu-Tang Clan made a huge impact, and you know the fact that they never gave a shit about the industry and just pimped the industry is another business blueprint. Like how RZA negotiated that all 9 members would get solo deals, and then he could still keep the Wu-Tang brand and put it on all of them, even though the one label gave them the first light. It's an amazing story, and shout out to Loud Records for even being open to that. Like they played such a role with Mobb Deep, you know, Wu-Tang, a lot of real important music coming through there.
Oh, my creatives! This is what I'm talking about, my creatives. This is what we do it here for Cuts, yo. But definitely, as you were saying about Native Tongues, let's go now. Let's bring it up forward. Now let's bring it up a little forward. Now you're transitioning now to filmmaking. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're a producer, you're being a director. Take us to even that transition. Like, at first, was it as easy transition, or was it steps to like you was getting in your groove? It was
definitely steps. It was not my focus at all to do filmmaking. I'm a writer, I'm an editor. I work with words, and storytelling becomes visual over time, and more people take the book in as an audio book or whatever, and you can make a film as well. So Reshma B, actually, shout out to Studio 17, the Lost Reggae Tapes. Reshma B from London came as a filmmaker, and I started collaborating with her on a lot of things for Boom Shots TV, which is a YouTube channel that focuses on dancehall people like Spice and Popcorn and Vibes Cartel, you know, Bounty Killer, Sham, and on and on. So the visual side, really, I would give Reshma a lot of credit for encouraging me to do that. But when I was at Mass Appeal, the De La Soul thing came to me. I just realized like it was coming up to the anniversary of De La Soul is dead.
Right.
And at the same time, they were raising
which is a fire album.
Oh, it's the turning point, which a lot of people have. I've seen people make the argument that they, you know, fucked up their legacy by smashing the Daisy Pots, and I just think it's the best album actually. Like, you know, it's the turning point when they're like, "Fuck this!" Like,
this is who we are.
Yeah, we came in this way. You want to treat us in a category? We're just ourselves, and we're gonna smash through anybody that, you know, doesn't get that. I thought it was an amazing album. But So, but at the same time, they raised $600,000 on Kickstarter to fund their own album. What record label is given a group $500,000 to make an album?
Right.
You know, it's not everybody that has access to that budget, and their fans gave them that budget.
Right.
So that was an incredible album. So at that moment, I had the opportunity to say at Mass Appeal, let's capture this moment, and we spoke with all 3 guys and a lot of their, you know, we had Prince Paul speaking for the first time after they stopped really working closely together.
Yeah, together, right.
Yeah, and really through the film, they were able to kind of hear each other's points of view about that, and it was kind of cool how it came.
You gotta, Holly, you gotta, yo, because no BS. Like even after we had met that night, literally the next morning, went right to it with the documentary. I was doing my I was getting to the listen, you know how it is with the research. I was getting to it off the rip, and that's what popped up. First thing I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, word! Hold up, I gotta see this."
Right.
Because Holly would tell you, Holly would definitely co-sign with you. With me with documentaries, I get giddy, I get hyped with it. So I said, "All right, let me see this." And by the way, that's one of my favorite hip hop groups is De La Soul. So
De La Soul, man. That's for the real ones because their stuff was not on streaming. And they were the ones who really inspired a group like Tribe Called Quest, for instance. You know, as JB's meant to them, it was like a each one teach one thing within the native tongues. And, you know, of course, the Flavor Unit, Latifah, like there was all these, you know, centers of knowledge that were merging. And BDP is part of that, Red Alert. Is that whole family that made, you know, and then Chris Lighty and Violator and all of that, you know, business excellence coming through. But that was a real culture. That was not arranged by attorneys. You know, that was arranged by heart and soul and just doing the thing in the field, you know. Yeah. And definitely we're still sticking on to the documentary. Like for you, each moment while you're looking at it, like, how much of your like hip hop like goosebumps is like really you trying to like ease the rage and just focus as I know I got to be the director, I got to produce. That was take us into that. I was starstruck by De La more than almost anything I've ever done, to be honest with you. Just because what they meant to me in my life, because I wasn't even like I was in New York when that record dropped. Like I came to New York in '87.
Okay.
So all of that
from where?
From Chicago. I was going to college in Chicago on the South Side in Hyde Park, and came to New York from Chicago in '87. Started working in a reggae record shop, Irie Heights Records in the East Village, and Red Alert, Boogie Down Productions, Shinehead, we're all in and out the place. Scientists, shout out to the dub master Scientists, like all this Jamaican and hip hop energy was flowing out of that record shop. And that's where I really built up my record crates and DJ'd in the clubs in New York through the late 80s, early 90s. And Vibe came in 92. I wrote the Super Cat piece when Cat was just going crazy with Don Dada and all of that. And then, you know, that was the first issue of Vibe. And I got put on after that.
Because that alone, because I remember that, because, you know, shout out to my older brothers out in Laurelton, Queens, you know what I'm saying? I remember that, like, we was transitioning from, like, Word Up magazine, you know what I'm saying? And stuff
and
like
the Source was doing the thing.
The Source was doing it too, but then Vibe dropped that, and it just, like, it wasn't even like a light, like, here, it's on here, it is, boom, it's in your newsstand. Vibe went like this, Vibe went like, wow. Yeah. Then it was just like the covers, it's just more great people, influences. Then when they did the Jordan cover, it was it was a wrap. OD.
The Jordan cover was Chris Rock and Michael Jordan, if you remember.
Yes.
And I got to produce that cover. So like I was in the room for that convo and that whole thing. That was legendary. Yeah. That one was crazy.
Your flex game is crazy. What was going on in that conversation, son?
Michael Jordan was rolling out his cologne, some perfume marketing blitz. So they had booked out the whole floor of some Midtown apartment hotel. It was a hotel like in the, you know, Waldorf, Ritz kind of zone. I don't know which one it was, but they had the whole floor. And Michael Driver, who's this big Irish dude that is the first guy that picked him up when he came from UNC to Chicago to try out and meet with the Bulls organization. This Irish dude picked him up from the airport, and that was Michael's driver ever since. Wow. And just drove with him everywhere, and he was like his man that just rolled. So he came in the room. I'm waiting with him, and then Michael comes in, and we're just waiting on Chris Rock, and he's late, you know? And it was like, you know, yeah.
Yo, that goes crazy. Could you imagine Mike's like whole like demeanor? Like if you looked at the last game, like yo, Mike is a cynical type of guy. Like if you've seen how this man like thinks before his games, now you got him waiting. Like yo, could you imagine once Chris Rock got there, yo,
but he was a big Chris Rock fan. He loved Bring the Pain was just out, and he was just going, like, he was fanning out. So anyway, Chris comes in and he's like, you know, a black man still can't get a cab in New York City. And you know, they hit it off from there, and it was an amazing interview. You know, we didn't really have to edit anything, but it was definitely like, you know, the driver had some stories of his own of driving Jordan, and you know, the fan craziness, and you know, a lot of things. But yeah, man, these are the experiences of a lifetime. That's why if Vibe was still going the way it was, I would probably still try to, you know, work with them. I still work with the Vibe.com, you know, shout out to, you know, the folks that's over there doing that. You know, I still publish some things with them. But, you know, the print days, that first run from 92, we were publishing large format print monthly with like the best photographers, best designers,
come on, man,
new talents, working with OGs, and like, just creating cool shit. Like that was
y'all was the time. Y'all were the Time magazine for the culture, man.
Yeah, it was coming from Time Life.
Let's just keep it a buck. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was our times. You know what I'm saying? There was Time magazine. Time magazine was Time magazine. Cool, great, awesome sauce. You know what I'm saying? But end all be all, Vibe was just it. You know what I'm saying? Vibe was just it. For me, I was a Vibe, Slam. You know what I'm saying? Source, to a degree, I was Source. I mean, I'm not trying to shun the Source was Source, but
they played a huge role with the 5 mics and a lot of good things. You know, they definitely did. Everybody played an essential part, and there was great writers from the Source that wrote for Vibe and vice versa. You know, but there was also a rivalry. Obviously, like we're competing, but it was looking back on it now, it's cool. Like we had a hip hop journalism conference at, what is it, the Pulitzer School of Journalism up in Columbia.
Right.
You know, Jelani Cobb is the dean up there, and he organized the whole thing. And, you know, he wrote for Vibe. I was able to edit Jelani before he was, you know, doing the things he did. Like, we had so many great writers, you know, contributing to Vibe. It was a special thing. But, you know, I just heard they're going to have a panel at USC this March as part of this, like, PopCon that they do.
Oh, wow.
So, March 13th, I think. They're doing something in LA.
Nice.
To honor Quincy and Vibe.
Of course.
Wow. Yeah. So, yeah.
Let's take it with, I want to ask you, like, what was the over-under on, like, passion features or passion covers versus the ones that you guys really figured that mattered? What was the over under on that, or even the day room discussions on that? Like,
passion mattered more than anything. Everyone was mad passionate in the room.
Right.
Everybody that came to that place pretty much had a different experience they were bringing in. It was a lot of different worldviews and life experiences in the editorial meetings, and then you had the business department with their own, you know, needs and wants, and you know, it created big tension and big disagreements and big, you know, arguments, but it was always from passion. It was always from believing that we wanted Vibe to be the best, because we only could do like 10, 11 issues a year.
Right.
And if you think all the things from 92 through 2009, like every single project, we had pretty much access to those artists and, you know, the artists that were influenced by that culture. And, you know, we ended up doing like De Niro and 50 Cent cover, and, you know.
It was, for me, it was the way you guys did those like combo type of covers and features. You know what I'm saying? Like you like De Niro and 50, Chris Rock, Jordan, Oprah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just
stuff. And it's cool to see that, you know, the people that came together to do that continue to do their own thing, you know, on a different playing field now, you know. And even Greg Tate, our OG as a writer, rest in peace, you know, but he got the Pulitzer, you know, like these are recognitions that come through, you know, a lot of people maybe not getting recognized, but eventually, you know, the time comes when you can't deny, you know, the contributions. And it's cool to see the work that was done being recognized.
No, that's what's up. And I just want with you, like, even for you, like with the digital space, right?
Yeah.
Now it's transition. You just did a transition from writing to producing. Now it's digital space now.
Right.
For you, in that sense, since you got the experience now, I'm going to assume that transition now isn't as difficult. Only challenge could be because of marketing, you know, in that sense. Or take us into that. Like, what is it for you like now?
Right.
As you know, because now everything is digital. Now everything is just up, podcasts and everything like that. Right. And also too, did the business people of Vibe consider wanting to go that route with Vibe? Take us into that.
Business decision that killed Vibe was the way the digital game was handled. The digital game was fumbled. And that was a big part of why Vibe went out the way it did. 2009 was a recession and, you know, a downturn in the whole economy. But very soon after that was when Complex, you know, came with this like crazy digital game and, you know, changed the whole way of marketing the blogs and the different niche markets and stuff. And, you know, shout out to like Mark Echo and Sasha and Noah. There's a lot of great people, Brent. You know, creative people that made Complex dope. And that's where I ended up after I was at Vibe. I was music editor of Complex for...
Yes, he was. Yeah. Yes, he was.
So I was able to do, like, first covers on The Weeknd and, you know, A$AP Rocky and, you know, like, a lot of different, you know, key Rihanna and Drake and Bieber covers, like, at a time that the digital and print of Complex were just rocketing. Like, I happened to coincide with the time of great growth and great creativity exploding in the business. We did the first Kendrick, you know, thing with Good Kid. Like we had a cover ready when Good Kid, Mad City dropped, you know, that we had collabed with ahead of time because we knew this was going to be the shit.
Wow.
And, you know, we knew like this is Section 80 was that. And then we heard swimming pools and it's like, okay, this is an important...
Yo, Holly, you owe me SDK, son. I'm bringing you history, dog. Yo, my creators. Yo, even y'all. Y'all owe me something, dog. I'm bringing y'all history, dog.
But you remember the video where Kendrick is trying the cereal? Have you seen that video?
Yes.
Yeah, that was from our cover shoot. So he had the cartoons and cereal out. That was the other record that was like, you know, I guess it was made for Good Kid, Mad City, but they couldn't clear all the samples or something, or they just it leaked and they loved it as its own thing. But it's a masterpiece record. But we wanted to know his favorite cereal, and so we had fun with the Fruit Loops and the. Don't bring him any Raisin Bran, he said.
Right.
No Wheaties. No.
He said no.
No.
He might be a little older now. He might like a little Raisin Bran.
He said,
I don't know, Holly.
He said,
I don't know, Holly.
All my shit got sugar, he said. You know, so, yeah.
Yo, like for you, if you could take yourself and go from an outside looking in scope of everything that you've done, what do you feel would stick out the most? And what do you feel you would just not want to be shown to the world?
Well, I'm on record, all of us that lived through the tragedy of the 90s, you know, with Big and Pac, you know, everyone has a sense of loss around that experience. And we were certainly, you know, experienced a lot of that firsthand. Like, Big was in our party the night that, March 9th, you know. Yeah. And you know, Tupac and Biggie were both artists that we featured many times and, you know, had so much respect for and, you know, did events with and, you know, all kinds of things. So it was a huge loss. And, you know, again, I've written some of this down, so I hesitate to like summarize it very quickly. But, you know, I think there's a lot of people that point the finger at how Vibe handled, you know, the East versus West situation. Right. And, you know, I wrote about that and how the cover line was written. And I didn't actually agree with that cover line when it was, you know, drawn up. We had another idea in mind. And, you know, I said it's about the passion, you know. So we felt passionately our opinion and, you know, we didn't necessarily have the final say, but, you know, these are things that you look back on sometimes, you know.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I feel this, and I've always spoke about it passionately when it comes to being a creative and being a contributor to this culture and everything like that, it's hard to what's the best way to say it? It's hard to pinpoint what you display and what it's going to trigger. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And even though there was documentaries that kind of like try to throw blame to y'all per se, for me, I don't know about everybody else. For me, it's hard to do that because even me as what I do in media, the years I've been a part of media and producing, and it's hard to decipher. People got to understand, like, you do the best you can to be not as objective as you want to be, right? Some of us, okay, you may want to do, bias, a certain bias or whatever, but in the same token, that's not on purpose that you want to do that.
Right.
So, for y'all in that time frame, you know what I'm saying?
I stand by the journalism and the level of, there's no bias in our coverage or any flaws in the way that we reported the story over time. We didn't make up, that story. There were real things happening in the culture, right? But you also become cognizant of the fact that you are playing a role in the whole ecosystem and the choices that you make creatively, So I think the cover of the magazine and the interior of the magazine are almost two different things sometimes. And, that's just the creative and business process that happens. And I think with that work that we did, I stand by the work. But it's just, people do look back on things they would have done differently. I would have liked to see that go a different way.
Nah, that's what's up. And for you, I want to know, like, what made you take on the role, or even for that matter, take heave into understanding, like, you know what, I'm really one of these pivotal, potent figures. I'm just saying.
I don't take that role.
No, but I'm just saying. Here's what I'm saying. In a sense where, like, damn, I'm able to do things with Jordan. I'm able to do things. And then you, not to say like,
when I
not to say not humbly, but I'm talking about as far as like holy crap. Like, sometimes you sit back and go like, yo, damn. When do those moments kick in?
Having a time to spend with Whitney and Bobby and like spend time with them together for a few days and see, like, people are people, and then you have the career and the gift and the business and everything that goes with those things. And, it's a privilege to get to see the person. And, you try to remember that person when you're dealing with your part of the business,
Right. Ooh.
Yeah.
My creator, Jesus, Mahalia Jackson, Christ on this episode. All right, but let's get to the now. You hit me up on DM. You was asking me about the performance, Kendrick performance. The Super Bowl. Let's get on that.
Amazing.
I'm not gonna lie. That was artistry at its finest hour, or finest like 30 minutes. I don't care what nobody says.
Right.
For me, in a sense. Right. For you, in regard, what was your take on it?
I was expecting nothing less than that going in. I knew it was going to be a different blueprint, completely PG Lang. Just always thinks not just outside the box. They think, like a part of the box that you never even knew existed, kind of thing, and show you and how they use the stage with the PlayStation controller, and everybody's like playing a game, and they don't necessarily even know they're playing that game. Like it was a deep stage presentation, and Samuel L. Jackson, and Serena. I mean, that was they didn't have to do all that. But, it was amazing. All
right, so for you, definitely of your illustrious and legendary career, what is your? I'm going to put the pressure on you right now. Yeah. What was your top 5 performances that you witnessed, if you could think, and put it in that scope?
Wow.
Woo.
That's
Woo.
I need some time with that. One of them is Mary J. Blige in Jamaica. The first time Mary J. Blige performed in Reggae Sumfest, watching the crowd sing to her, and how she just stood there. The entire crowd sang every word of "I'm Going Down" back to her. The band started playing. and she sang like 3 notes, and then they just took over, and she stood for 2 minutes while they sang verse, chorus, verse, bridge, whatever, you know. And when she finally began to sing again, she was so moved. You could just see the feeling on her. And then when she sang, she didn't even sing words, you know. She sang like colors.
Let me tell you about being a person at a Mary J. Blige performance concert or what have you. Right. Everything he said is on. I mean, like I said, I wasn't there for Jamaica. That's the biggest flex. That's crazy. But I'm not gonna lie to you. It is what it is. But I was at the concert. It was about 2-3 years ago that she did in Uptown, in the Heights.
Okay,
and I was in the 3rd row.
Wow,
I got video of this. I'm in 3rd row.
Yeah,
I was shocked. First off, shout outs to her and this team or whatever that said, hey, you know what, Remo, you could be in the 3rd row. So mind you,
that's a good look.
Yeah, that's an amazing good look.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Skip the whole line. 3rd row. Oh, cool, no problem. Thanks. You know what I'm saying? So I'm there, and I'm just like, oh, man. See, she came out, and I screamed. I'm not going to lie. I screamed. Oh! I screamed.
No doubt.
I did. But I get it. No, listen, right. I get it. I get it. Right. So just for you to say that, I just get it. All right, so what's another one? We won't do top 5. What's another one that you could definitely, off your memory?
Yeah, I mean, there have been so many great KRS-One performances, Boogie Down Productions, like doing things that, you know, like, I wasn't there for the PM Dawn show, but, you know, other shows that were memorable of KRS coming out, like, unannounced and just ripping a show that, you know, he's that artist that if he feels the vibe, he'll just come in. He doesn't mind about, you know, like, the niceties of the industry, you know.
Right.
He's coming through to do his thing.
Man, bro. I remember, again, another one that I've seen in person, this was like recently, when he came to SOBs.
Oh, yeah, that was great. That was last year.
That was last year, when he came to SOBs.
Oh, really?
Oh, man, bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
And he had his verses with him and Kane. That was unbelievable. Yeah, that was a memorable. He brought out Mad Lion, you know. Yeah,
he did, you know. Man, my career, we just going through this culture like you don't understand, my career. Now, all right, so another one I'm asking you. Who for you is top 5? I'll answer this as well. Who for you is top 5 hip hop groups for you?
Groups,
of all time for you.
Yeah, man.
I'm getting into 2. I got mine ready.
Right.
I was just interested to hear what you.
That's a good. I mean, you have to put, you know, Run DMC, NWA, and De La Soul. Like, you start with those 3.
Okay, that's you for you. Okay,
yeah. So probably Mobb Deep, I would say, and Wu-Tang. Yeah.
Woo! All right, me, I ain't gonna lie to you. Number 1 for me is definitely Wu-Tang.
Okay.
2, Tribe Called Quest.
Okay.
3, they just recently moved up to 3 Locks. 4,
oh yeah, shit.
4 is Lost Boys for me. 5, you know, definitely De La.
De La gets in there.
Yeah. De La for me definitely gets in there.
And then
I gotta put one honorable mention for both of y'all. The Beastie Boys.
Oh God,
yeah. I mean, oh man, dude. Listen. No, they're my 10. Don't get it effed up.
Right.
But for 5, it's hard for me to put. And maybe you'll agree with me on this. You know, it's hard for me to put them over De La. It's hard for me to put them. It's hard for me to put them over De La. It's for me personally. I'm just saying because that's my top 5. For me personally, it's hard for me to put them over Lost Boys, but that you understand on a Queens thing, and also too, cats don't understand. All right, I'm gonna tell a story about it. After Lost Boys dropped Legal Drug Money, right?
Yeah.
And the first time they come back to Queens is I don't know if you went to it, was Roy Wilkins' Summer Stage, bruh. First off, I cut school. That's 1.
Okay. So it's a good
2,
day.
I'm trying. You know how it is at Roy Wilkins Park. That gate in Roy Wilkins Park. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
So cats is trying to hop over the joint. I'm dead, like climbing off the brick joint, getting over, jumped over it. We here for Lost Boys.
We're good.
You know what I'm saying? and then even that year, I think I was 97, 98, I believe. And then even they came back again, and then that's when they was dropping Love, Peace, and Happiness. Love, Peace, and Happiness. Bomb. They dropping songs off that.
Yeah.
Beast from the East.
Queens, Beast from the East. Oh God, Beast from the East. Yo, bro. Yo, for Queens cats, we was just wilding.
Yeah.
I'm Harlem too, but I'm saying for Queens cats, like yo, we was just wilding for that. But
and we're sitting here not talking about Outcasts, and it
right.
doesn't make sense, you know.
You got you can put them in. No, you can put them in there.
Top 5.
Yeah, and then Ghetto Boys, and you know,
that's
Two
fair.
Live Crew, and
That's fair. No, that's fair. There's a lot of.
Yeah.
But like I said, the question
Bone
was,
Thugs.
yeah,
Shout out to Ohio, you know. Like,
you got to put them up there.
Yeah.
Gave a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by far.
They were a big pivot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're still a big pivot.
The fact that Big got their style perfect on his album was a big talking point for Big.
Right.
Like, he can rap like Bone Thugs. Like, that shows you
His
what
versatility.
they actually represent to the culture, that people would give a shit enough, you know. But they had their own zone. They created their own,
Right,
you know.
right. And then you see a lot of people kind of doing a little bit of what they do now.
Oh, for sure.
Like a lot of them harmonizing with the
Yep.
words. Like, that comes from them. Like
3-6 and Bone Thugs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
I love them.
My creatives. Oh my God, my creatives. We are giving you some culture today, tonight, tomorrow morning. Doesn't matter on this episode. Oh man, just for you, because we're gonna wrap it up. Definitely wanted to fill in the blanks for you. Rob Kenner is blank because the culture needed blank. How you want to fill that? Yeah, let's go. No, let's go. Let's go with it. Let's go with it.
I'm grateful because the culture expanded, you know, and I played a part in helping it do that.
Ooh, man. What else? What else should we expect from you? Let my creators know. Reach out. What else should we expect from you? Is there another documentary in the works? What's going on?
There's another book in the works.
Okay.
And there's a couple of documentaries in the works, and I'm going to be teaching a class, which I'll be announcing soon at
Okay.
NYU.
Nice.
So that's a first coming up, and I'll be part of that USC Vibe conference that's coming up, you know. So I'm doing things like that, continuing to, you know, just push real culture, and, you know, from hip hop to dance hall, you know, and just social justice and life on earth, you know, it's all like the same values, right? It's all just real stuff, and telling the real stories, letting the people that live this truth be the ones to tell the story, you know.
Woo! My creatives, man. Listen, man. Let's give him a round of applause, man. My creatives. This is dope, man. I appreciate you, Rob,
appreciate
man. I appreciate you.
platform,
Nah, definitely, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
good
Nah, I
energy, like
appreciate
you
you giving me your time. You know what I'm saying? You could have gave your time to anybody, but you definitely came here, sat down, Remo Marak here on this platform. Like I said, man, this is what I do it for. You know what I'm saying? I sacrifice, donate, invest, you know, with this platform. And it's just to get the stories out. I think it's, for me, you know, it's imperative, you know, for our culture, you know what I'm saying, to really get these narratives out, get it right, get to the resolutions down to it, and hear from figures like yourself, or legendary figures like yourself. I'm going to say legendary. You know what I'm saying?
I'll take
it. It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter, man, because I know it gets thrown around, but this is, like, everything you spoke about on this episode, you know, was legendary, is key. You know what I'm saying? It's key things that you've seen, you know, and everything like that. So, you know, for me, I'm really big on that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I feel blessed to, like I said before, your 150th episode of your platform. It's a big deal for you to turn that space over to me to have this conversation.
Yeah,
so I appreciate that. And, you know, I had a chance to be part of a platform that Quincy created called Vibe, or a platform that Mark Echo and his partners created called Complex, or, you know, Nas created at Mass Appeal, Nas
right.
and Sasha Jenkins, you know. So there's things that you just have to give thanks when you step back and realize, like, people built these platforms. And, you know, I have put work into establish Boom Shots as my own, you know, platform. And I think all these things are so important. So for what you're doing here, much respect, and just keep doing it.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. Listen, man, you already know it is, my creatives, man. Read TV, get serious TV, Cuts Podcast, Culture, Urban, Technology, and Sports. It's episode 150. You know what it is. Follow me on Instagram at Remo Marak _. You know what I'm saying? We know of it. It's Rob Kenner. You can follow him on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Also to just be on the lookout for the clips and the shorts, and then also to episode on all platforms, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google, Apple. You know what I'm saying? DJ Chase Radio. It's on there as well. Okay, I'm happy I came back with this one. You know what I'm saying? But you know how this goes, man. Hands over the eyes. It ain't the one, baby. It's the 2 up. We out here. That's peace.
Peace.
You're ready.